just to simplify it, people want to have smart regulators and open and free marketplace of ideas and algorithms. So, and both these things seem to not be the case prior to Elon Musk taking over Twitter.
Hello, welcome back to Mtambo's Desk, a weekly podcast covering deep conversations on technology, philosophy, complex science, and cryptocurrency. My name is Duke Mtambo, and the following is a conversation with Jakub Šimek, a co-founder of Wezesha DAO. And in today's episode, we'll be talking about Twitter files exposing Biden's government. And so the Twitter files tell an incredible story from inside one of the world's largest and most influential social media platforms. What you're about to hear right now is a conversation based upon thousands of internal documents obtained by sources at Twitter. And now, dear friends, here is Jakub Šimek. So let's start with have you seen and read the Elon Musk Twitter files posted by Mtambo exposing Biden's administration, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, it's been before the weekend, so I would need to refresh it. But like, as far as I know, he delivers or he gave access to various journalists like Barry Weiss, Mtambo, and also Michael Schellenberger, and probably there are some more, but I have to say I read only those first three drops or installments or something. So and I checked out for a couple of days, so I don't know the exact number now at this moment, but yeah, I read those three.
Yeah, I think there's the Matt Taibbi and also
Barry Weiss and Michael
Weiss.
Schellenberger, and then again Barry Weiss, I guess, or Matt, I don't know. Yeah.
So, and what are your thoughts when you when you saw these installments being exposed by Elon Musk?
Yeah, I mean, it's very good that these things are happening, because we need to have a clarity on as we discussed last time with Alexander as well. People want to have free and open algorithms. So and they also want to have like smart regulators. So it doesn't mean like people don't want to have like a chaos or anarchy or some kind of, let's say, loads of spam and loads of inappropriate content or harassment and hate. That's one thing, but they also don't want to be they don't want to be lied to, and they don't want to be manipulated by algorithms. So like by uneven, let's say, algorithms favoring one kind of opinion or worldview, and algorithms that are not transparent. So it's kind of like you are between a stone and a hard place, or how you say it. But it's just to simplify it, people want to have smart regulators and open and free marketplace of ideas and algorithms. So and both these things seem to not be the case prior to Elon Musk taking over Twitter.
Oh, okay. At some point we saw like Matt Taibbi was talking about the Hunter Biden story, laptop story. So, and when you read it, what were your thoughts, and how is it maybe really, how did it maybe even impacted the US election at some point or something like that?
Okay, I mean, this is difficult to judge like in a kind of a numerical or like quantitative sense in a way, but just the idea of censoring a 200-year-old newspaper, okay, it's like a New York Post, so it's not New York Times, but it's more conservative, but it has a history of 200 years. And they basically banned it, or like they for a week, and they were really, really strict about the story. Like you couldn't even share it through DMs at some point, and you couldn't repost it. And it was like, yeah, it's just strange, you know. It's kind of unprecedented, you know. And the pretext or the explanation was that this is some kind of Russian disinformation or something. But it's just just a story, you know, like an investigative journalism story of a laptop that was left in a repair, and somebody got access to those documents there on the laptop, right? So it's something normal. There was no hacking, there was no Russian disinformation. It was like all um, just like a normal journalistic work, but somehow it seems like, you know, like Twitter, it wasn't a smart regulator here, you know. So they were like working with the authorities, the US, like I don't know, FBI or something. And they even you know, if you listen to All In podcast, they discuss these Twitter files. It was just recently, I listened to it on Friday, I guess. And I mean, the host there, I mean, they're like VCs, like venture capitalists, and like quite important in also like in California, and people listen to them also in Washington. And there's this guy David Sachs, and he basically said that mm, yeah, I mean, uh, FBI actually knew about it, that it's not a hack, you know, and it's not a disinformation. They had the information that it's legit, you know. I mean, they had the information on the hard on the laptop, just like
Yeah.
they knew that it's there. So it's kind of like it seems like it's not.
So it was
Mm,
more of a balloting stiffing than also like in terms of a really rigging of election through maybe the uh, the Hunter Biden laptop story, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it's rigging the election or it's something. It's just like it's one-sided, you know. It's like you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't use this kind of card that it's a hack or it's a disinformation campaign when it's just like a regular investigative journalism of a 200-year old newspaper, New York Post, and it should be just like you know, rule of law kind of thing, like. You just should let the journalists expose what is there. It's just like if you know, it's important for the public to know, and if it hurts Biden, or if it helps Trump or something, it's that's not the point, you know. It's just
Mhm.
like because you know, it's not some kind of like malicious actors, or someone who is like I don't know, lying intentionally, or someone who is like feeding like some hoax to these newspapers. So yeah, I mean, it's like a precedent, you know. Also, like banning Trump was a big precedent, and it's always like it's something like a bailout of banks in 2008 in the financial crisis, global financial crisis. You know, it happens one, it's this big news, like, oh, it's a precedent, but then but then it becomes normal, you know. So then it was like 700 something billion printed out. Also Balaji talks about it a lot back then in 2008, and it was like big news. And now they print it before breakfast, and nobody even asks, or nobody cares, you know. And this is the same, you know, like you ban a US president who is supposed to be the most powerful man or woman on the planet, and you ban them from Twitter, ban him from Twitter, and then the next year, I mean, you can ban like almost anyone you choose. It's just like becomes normalized.
Yeah, it's true. It's true because yeah, banning such a public figure or say president, like the highest office on the U.S. land, yeah, it really means a lot because that means the voice maybe of other people also can be silent and also, but also through that it also showed people or showed the world that there are so many voices which were silenced uh, with through Twitter by the government, and at this point, also they went into an extra mile and also, banned the U.S. president Twitter account. So that really means a lot in terms of freedom of speech of free speech. Yeah, but mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably the first Twitter file kind of like dump, or I don't know, or Twitter thread, but Matt Taibbi, I'm not sure, or the second, but there was this case of Stanford professor of public health who was criticizing lockdowns back
Yeah,
in 2020.
I mean, it was Barry's ways.
Okay, yeah, and it was quite telling and interesting because he was like shadow banned, and he's like authority teaching at Stanford, and he was shadow banned without actually without the knowledge, like nobody was telling him like, okay, your tweets are flagged and they are kind of like people can't share them freely, or there is some kind of algorithmic tampering with this information to prevent it going viral, or something like that. So it's like shadow banning that guy, and okay, and he had some like ideas about like how lockdowns will hurt poor people, how lockdowns will hurt people all around the world, how lockdowns will hurt children and the performance of children, the mental health of children. And without going into like the crux of his argument, I guess I agree with parts of it, and with parts I don't agree probably. Or I think lockdowns were important at the very beginning, but then they were overdoing lockdowns, especially after we got the vaccines. We probably wouldn't need. We shouldn't have just persisted with this policy. But anyhow, without like going into details of his argument or agreeing with him completely, he's like an important voice, and he's not some kind of like say a fake account, let's say some kind of Russian bot, or just some kind of crazy person from some countryside. I don't know, something with let's say US Midwest, or some Trump supporter or whatever, or someone just like some random guy from Slovakia like me or something, but he's like teaching at Stanford, right? And he has like the top pedigree or something, and he's even like a person of color, right? I mean, or I guess he has like a South Asian or Indian origin, and he was shadow banned, and nobody told him, and then people are asking questions like, okay, but what if he hasn't been shadow banned back then? Or okay, what would have been different? Maybe those policies would last shorter, or maybe they would be revised quicker. Maybe less people would be suffering, or less children would have traumas because of lockdowns. And you don't want Twitter to make these decisions. It should be like decisions made by rational actors, listening various arguments and deciding like, okay, this argument is kind of silly, this argument makes more sense, and therefore you want to have a free free and open marketplace of ideas, bearing, or like, okay, you have some exceptions for hate speech and for incitement to violence, but otherwise, and you should like these are like offenses and they should be reported or they should be persecuted, like if you are inciting violence to some for certain group or something. But uh, yeah, these are exceptions, but like generally you want to have a free and open marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, but also talking about prosecution, do you think what do you think about also like how say uh, Dr. Fauci, for example, who was leading in terms of the health department or the minister of health in the U.S. You know, um, he was giving advices about the pandemic and all that. But how do you think do you think like he committed also crimes against humanity in terms of maybe using also, for example, Twitter to manipulate people on different maybe informations, which were because at some point we see like even the it's like they're benefiting, for example, people like Dr. Fauci, and I think Elon Musk he was to release some of the files about that, but yet he has not released yet. But yeah, what are your thoughts about that also?
Okay, I mean, it's maybe too hard too hard of a word or framing or sentence that crimes against humanity or something. But he has like a checkered record. Also, even back in the back in the days of like AIDS prevention and like. So he's definitely a controversial figure, but the point there is that. There were various policies that were reversed and then reversed again. And all the time, Balaji says that you have this school of fish strategy. You know, you have fish and they always move like the same. So nobody is like, nobody is contradicting anyone. So first it was like the masks don't work, you know, I mean, so you shouldn't buy masks because the health authorities were saying masks don't work because they wanted to protect and keep those masks for the health workers, so they wanted to prevent the hoarding of masks by regular people. So they were kind of lying, like masks don't work, don't buy them or something. And even before, it was like Trump was very kind of scared of this. He called it China virus or something.
Yeah, I
And so
remember.
yeah, and so then everything is tribal today. So people, the liberals or something, they were like completely like against. I mean, they were just basically saying the opposite of what Trump was saying. So when he was like totally scared of the China virus, as he called it, of COVID-19, at the very early days of pandemic, then the liberals and the liberal media were like saying, okay, this is not a big deal, it's something like a flu and it's just like, and you don't need to worry. And there were tons of articles like these, and like they were like making fun of the tech bros in Silicon Valley, that they are afraid to shake hands, and they were like just mocking them, and like that they are some weirdos, tech bros, and something like that. Balaji talks about this like Recode article, like that he exposed, like they were trying to contact him and like write some kind of silly article about this like no handshake please policy at some venture capital firms. And he sensed that they are planning to do this, and he kind of exposed them and tweeted about the DMs with these journals and stuff like that. Okay, and then after Trump kind of flipped again, then they suddenly said like, oh my god, this is everything, this virus is like yeah, you have to, I don't know, like lockdown, where triple mask yourself, everybody has to be at home, and actually the same happened with the vaccine.
Mhm.
So At the beginning, they were like politicians like Kamala Harris who like declared that they will not take the Trump vaccine. They called it the Trump vaccine, you know. And then again, like there was this flipping or like this change or reversal of roles. Then suddenly, when the Trump was out of power, or when then again there was like this like a lot of anti-vax or vaccine skeptical people. They were like, let's say, closer to Trump. So then again, like this liberal or progressive, or I don't know, this tribe, you can say woke or whatever, got again into like being totally pro vaccine, but actually not all vaccines, you know, because here in Slovakia we have like we could have gotten these Eastern vaccines, let's say like Russian or Chinese or whatever, but they were against these vaccines, so they were like partially anti-vax when the Eastern vaccines were discussed, but then they were super pro-vax when they were like the US vaccines, and they were mixed about the AstraZeneca, which was like the UK and Swedish vaccine. Okay, it had there were also some reasons, some side effects of these vaccines, like AstraZeneca had some issues. But even Janssen had some issues. Anyhow, generally, yeah, this is like just to summarize it, like these kind of like reversals of positions, just they were like totally tribal, like didn't, if you are like thinking rationally, you like, I don't know, you just like calculate some kind of probabilities, like okay, there are some side effects, but like there are also like the COVID-19 seems to be really dangerous because Chinese are taking it really seriously, and so probably it's really good to have a vaccine as soon as possible, probably through some challenge trials, which were not allowed, but could have sped up the rollout of vaccines, maybe 10 times or something. Instead of months, we could have had them in weeks, at least tested through challenge trials. But anyhow, so these were like there were a lot of these kind of hiccups or like these issues that were kind of strange, you know, like, and people observed it, you know, like it was like not okay to talk about lab leak. It was like a conspiracy theory, and it could have been banned and on Twitter or something when Trump was in office. But then again, now it's like almost mainstream that it's like a plausible theory when he's not in the office. Because when it's useful for let's say the blue tribe or the woke tribe, then they use this kind of information. But if it's not useful, then they try to ban it and block it. That's basically, it's everything is tribal now. And Twitter used to be what seems to have happened is like Twitter was like banning like this one part of tribe much more than the other, or I mean this one kind of blue, red tribe, or kind of more conservative, more than the blue tribe. Yeah.
And the fact that the mainstream
Okay,
media.
sorry, going back to Fauci. Okay, so I mean,
Mhm.
it's not just him, you know, but it's all the bureaucrats and all the agencies. I mean, even Emma here in Europe, it's probably even worse than the FDA. But the issue was like at the very beginning of pandemics, they blocked testing for like 1 month or something. You know, like you couldn't do testing because they wanted to authorize it. They wanted to keep power over it, and so you couldn't do like independent testing, and it probably cost lives of people. And the fact that the vaccines were rolled out very quickly, some people are there, therefore there is a lot of skepticism because they were like rolled out relatively very quickly, but they could have been rolled out still like a couple of months, even maybe half year sooner, if the regulators were like smart regulators and not the outdated regulators. So there are lots of hiccups about lots of policies, and the masks are kind of the most obvious. Like first they didn't work, then they worked, and now then again they didn't kind of didn't work. So and often it's it was not honest communication. It was just basically to protect the health workers. Then they were kind of lying to people like, ah, you shouldn't buy masks because they don't work. But it wasn't like they needed to do some experiments to find out. It was just like they were kind of like, yeah, not being honest. Yeah. So Fauci, and I don't know, I mean, probably there are some other issues with him. I'm not following him so closely, and I know there are lots of people are pissed, probably because of lockdowns and the mental issues of kids and the decline in performance at schools of all those kids who were locked down. Yeah.
Yeah, but it worries me because I mean it worries me more because the mainstream media hasn't even tried to talk about this and say everything about it, you know. But they are good at maybe talking about Trump, you know, or say um, bad things about Elon Musk. But until now, I haven't seen like big media, mainstreams or like CNN or ABC talking about it. So it's really, what can I put it? Worrying to see this because it's kind of they're promoting they're promoting the lack of free speech.
Yeah, I mean they're very selective, you know. So it's just like they're like the prestige press, or as Balaji calls them, the downstream press, because now they're usually just downstream of social media. So either somebody is like misbehaving on social media and they report it, or someone is just like basically all they report is like there are some discussions, somebody is writing some tweet or some status on Facebook, or I don't know, doing something on Instagram, and they report on it. You know, it's just like wrappers around tweets basically. So therefore they're like downstream media and not the mainstream media anymore. If you look at CNN and the decline in viewership of CNN, it's like probably there like some random shows have like on YouTube or something have much more views than CNN has now, you know. So it's like, you know, actually Trump was like a blessing for the downstream media because they had like this symbiotic relationship with him. So like they pretended to hate him and he pretended to hate them, and they were constantly talking about him, and they got money for views and for subscriptions and for advertising. So, and once Trump was out of office, they were like they got this hangover from this 4-year party, you know, of this great rates and viewership and everything because of Trump. So, and we have something similar in Slovakia. We have like this former prime minister who is now a finance minister, and the media just love him. I mean, they hate him, but they love him for the clicks. You know, I mean, it's just like they constantly write about like how he's being, I don't know, misbehaving or something. And yeah, I mean, and once he's gone, they will suffer again. I mean, they will suffer the subscriptions and the lack of interest, you know, because they're just reporting what's happening online. So yeah, no. And for them not to choose, let's say, to report on Twitter files, it's just like because it's not it goes against their tribe, you know, the old establishment, the technological conservatives, the old elites, let's say from Brooklyn, from New York, their owners, like Salzburger, from who owners of New York Times or something. So they're not interested. I mean, in I mean, they kind of hate Elon Musk, so just because he's like disruptive to them, and this like kind of they hate like immigrant founders and tech entrepreneurs. I mean, not explicitly, but it's just like because they disrupted their revenue model, like back in like Google News and like all the social media, like the revenue model totally, you know, the revenues of this mainstream media, now we can call them downstream media, they dropped like, it was like 15 years ago, but they dropped like from 70 billion to like 17 or something like that, you know. So and since then, maybe since 2012, Balaji talks about it a lot. Since the re-election of Obama, it kind of, they started to attack tech. They attacked technology and tech bros and like founders and entrepreneurs. So they hate Elon Musk, which is actually funny. You know, there are lots of companies which are like, I don't know, oil companies or kind of like dirty business almost, and they have better ESG rating than Elon Musk. Probably SBF with his FTX had a better ESG rating, and he was like featured on the World Economic Forum something website. And Elon Musk, I don't know, they have better ESG, like environment, social, and governance rating than Elon Musk, who is a founder of Tesla and SpaceX, and who basically pioneered the EVs, the mass adoption of electric vehicles, you know. And they hate him, and but they allow people like SBF, the crooks, basically crooks who are just sophisticated scammers, like they steal people's money or use, I don't know, it's funny, but they donate to politicians, so the right politicians.
Mm-hmm. But one thing I would like to point out, as it is not mentioned enough, is the fact that a very large majority of Americans are so entrenched in their ideology that there's no way to dig them out. You know, no matter how much truth you prove to them, no matter how absurd the idea is, no matter how illegal and immoral the act is, they cannot get through them. So, yeah, but anyway, let's we can switch a little bit to more the digital nomads. And how do you think it impacted also, let's say, pandemic, during the time of pandemic, how the digital nomads movement was impacted, or did it also say somehow contributed to the spread of, say, COVID-19 or something like that? Because you know it's a movement of people from working from another country or moving to another country to work, say in the beach or something like that. So what do you think about uh, their impacts, the impacts?
Yeah. Okay, just maybe just like to follow up on your comment, like, yeah, people have sometimes they have like some crazy ideas or ideologies, but often it's like just because they, I don't know, they are seeking love or something, you know, like they don't want to lose their loved ones, or they are I don't know, they are they're attracted to like certain kind of people who are around them. So usually it's basically, it's like a cult or something. So you are around certain people and you share their ideas because you just want to be similar to them, and or you kind of admire them or something. So yeah, one way how to escape ideology is to become a digital nomad, probably, and to move to other places. Let's say maybe if you move from city to countryside, you, I guess you get a different different ideas, or if you start your own family, or if you, I don't know, change cities or change jobs, or usually maybe probably what helps is also Balaji has this idea of like you should try both sides of trade or both sides of the relationship. So let's say if you are an entrepreneur, maybe you can try to become a regulator, or if you are a teacher, you can become a student, or vice versa, something like that, you know. And you can try both ends of the relationship, and probably you also end up with more perspectives than just your own. So that's okay. But going back to the digital, or continuing with your current question, digital nomads. Yeah, after Balaji also talks about how internet started truly only in 2020, because the digital became primary. So you like people spend lots of people spend, let's say, 50% of their time online. And since there were lockdowns and there were okay, people got more screen time because they couldn't go out, right? But it's like kind of obvious. But the remote work became like a cultural. It became culturally accepted. So it's like kind of like a cultural or social innovation that happened. And so, okay, remote work was like, okay, remote first. Some companies became remote first. It saves planet some CO2 in traveling. Zoom became really good. Like now we are on Zoom, and internet is much faster in Kenya, also in Slovakia, and Zoom is like a much better experience because I don't know, the artificial intelligence is able to block all these like noises, and the sound is almost professional. Even we are kind of using like very cheap equipment. All these kind of add up slowly, but it kind of became apparent in 2020 that internet kind of started, or the digital is now primary, and the physical is just like a printout copy. Like back in, I don't know, 20 years ago, you had like the newspaper, like New York Times. Now we call them downstream media, but okay. And it was like primary. You had like the paper, literal paper in your hands, and the digital version was just like some random couple of articles, probably somewhere online, without the video, without some like rich multimedia present. It was just like a couple of articles, and so the digital version was secondary. And now in 2020 it flipped, so the digital is primary and physical is secondary. And it is also about, like, I don't know, conferences, meetings, even like closing big deals, like for venture capital, for private equity or something. It became kind of accepted. Suddenly it became accepted to even close deals, even preferred to close deals online remotely, like through Zoom, because you were considered like to be more, I don't know, like cautious, and like you are kind of like behaving in a nice way because you don't want to like infect anyone during COVID. So you are just like people actually preferred to have like Zooms over traveling. I mean, most people, or more, many people. And of course, there were many people who, who hated lockdowns and remote work and something. But like, okay, so but this was like basically COVID-19 put digital nomadism on a next level. That's the remote work as a social innovation, and then Starlink as a technical innovation. So probably your listeners heard about Starlink, Elon Musk's basically SpaceX product, satellite internet. And he donated it to Ukraine after the Russian invasion. He donated not just not just he kind of opened Starlink also for Ukraine, and then he donated those equipment, like the physical equipment devices, Starlink devices, and he donated equipment for like 80 something $million. And basically that's what kept Ukraine online since then, probably. And because that's like the first thing you want to do, like if you invade a country, you want to disrupt their communication. And even Elon Musk kept the Starlink like open even for Russian like kind of like TV stations or something, so they can see like both sides of the story, even like lots of it is disinformation and misinformation. But that's like the another important thing, because Starlink can open the map globally. So it means like you can be not just, let's say, in Voi, but you could be like somewhere in the middle of Taita Taveta. Technically, I don't know how is the Starlink coverage now in Kenya, honestly. But
not yet. I think Elon Musk plans to. I was hearing some rumors about coming to Tanzania, but also I was had some rumors about also at some point Elon Musk would be looking for opportunities in Kenya to put the Starlink also.
Okay, I think it's just for them. I don't know. I honestly, this is maybe a bit more technical because how the satellites and it's like how gets discovered, but probably he could do it in days, probably, something like that. Like if he decides to do it. But anyhow, because that's what he did it in hours when the Ukraine was the Ukraine case, but it has a different latitude, so it probably was easier. But I don't know, honestly. I don't see the details, but I guess there is no. That there may be some legal issues or something, but like the technically it should be solvable kind of quickly from let's say Starlink side.
Yeah, I saw your tweet also. You said like if Slovakia wants to become a serious country and not just a symbolic one, it needs to focus on India, Nigeria, and the three truly global and free protocols. And you also
Okay,
say Starlink and remote work allow for longitudinal arbitrage. So Nigeria and Africa in general are sudden cause in terms of time zone.
Right. Because Slovakia kind of focuses on Kenya at least a little bit, and of course I meant Africa in general, but Nigeria was specific because the tweet was like commenting on or sharing some map of some graph that actually there will be more Nigerians than Chinese in 210. Like at the end of this century, there will be more Nigerians than Chinese. So that was in this context, and actually, even like Indian population will decline like by 200 million or something, but the Nigerian will, I don't know, triple or something, so, So. Therefore, that's just like an illustration why Africa will be more and more important, and it's still frankly important. But like this longitudinal arbitrage in the age of Starlink basically means, okay, once Starlink is in Kenya or other African countries, you can be totally like anywhere, like I don't know, at a ranch or some lodge in the middle of Taita Taveta. You can have a fast internet and you can set up your internet business there, like, and serve customers who are, let's say, in Sweden. So you could be like, let's say, in Lesotho or in, I don't know, in South Africa, and you can serve your clients that are, I don't know, in Northern Europe. And basically, your time zone becomes your home, kind of, Alexander Bard, like last time we had the podcast with him. He said like, okay, digital nomads, like for digital nomads, your laptop is your home. And so this is like in the age of Starlink arbitrage or longitudinal arbitrage, your laptop plus your time zone plus minus 2 hours is your home. So basically, like us two, there is a 2 hour difference because of we have a winter time, and normally there is like 1 hour difference between Slovakia and Kenya in summer. Now it's 2 hours, and it's kind of still doable, but it's a bit more challenging for you because it's almost like midnight, and for me it's just 10 o'clock, so I'm still kind of more fresh, I guess. So sorry for you. But
Actually, I look just a joke. Actually, I look more. I'm normally more focused, maybe in the evening than morning. Maybe morning, I'm not that focused. Than
yeah. No, but you look fresh. I'm not saying you are tired, but just like objectively, there is 2 hour difference, and it's worse for you. But it's also for me sometimes in the morning. I'm grumpy. So yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
So,
still doable, you know. 2 hours is doable. I don't know,
yeah.
maybe 3 hours still, but I don't know. It's getting kind of a bit weird, you know, with 3 hours. But 2 hours is doable. But if, for example, but Nigeria, I checked when I was writing that tweet, and I checked, and they had the same time as we had, you know. So it was like that's interesting because it's, you know, China has a completely different time zone, you know. It's just like 8 hours or something, you know. India is something like in between. The US has like 6 7 something like that hours, it depends.
Mhm.
And Africa, I mean, it has like the same time zone, kind of, you know, plus minus 2 hours. Middle East, probably, yeah, I mean, I remember flying through Dubai. It had probably 3 hours, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Georgia has like 3 hours. Georgia is like the country is quite popular for digital nomads, so it has 3 hours. But like Africa is pretty, you know, it's like it
Mhm.
basically once the digital is primary and fast internet will be everywhere and remote work is normalized, like it's normal and it's even preferable for some people. It's still not 100%, and probably, you know, Elon Musk, he doesn't like remote work, for example, but he says like he likes it for very productive people, you know. So it's
Mhm.
also like digital nomads probably, or people who love to work remotely. Often they're like programmers or writers or something, and they like to work at night, and so they are like conscious. Yeah, I mean they're like kind of, they know how to schedule their time and like be strict with their time and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, you know, it's so, but remote work as a social innovation, let's see if it persists, but I believe, or I
Mhm.
hope, and well, I think it will persist. Not everywhere, but at some companies and at some professions. And Starlink or similar innovations like of really fast internet. I mean, I know that you have a broadband, you have a fast mobile internet and something, but I remember like going, let's say, to when we were in Kasigao or when we were in yeah, in places that are more remote,
Remote.
let's say, than void, then the internet got slower and slower and slower. And at some lodges or some ranches and like some in the middle of Tsavo, you know, you get no coverage or something, you know, or some villages. I remember it was okay, maybe almost 10 years ago. I don't know how it is now. But basically, this kind of thing could solve it basically for every location, like Starlink. And what it means that it could reprise the map, the real estate. You know, it could open the map and it could reprise the global real estate, because you could be literally in not just in Voi. Voi is a great city, or I mean, small town or
Town. Yeah. Yeah.
mid-sized town. But you could be anywhere, like in a lodge somewhere in the looking at elephants basically or something, and you could work on really fast internet at the same time and
Yeah.
run your global business from there, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, it's it's not all about technology evolution. You know, we started with the newspaper and now into mass media. But Balaji also says like we can now envision a day where the 20th century scourge of mass media is ended forever. Not mended, but just ended. And replace newspaper with your own personalized open source AI, you know, and remote control of minds. Now the user decides not a media corporation. And now we see like also some a great innovation, the open AI, which has brought the uh, chat GPT, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, actually, GPT-3, I mean, Chat GPT, that's the name. It's just like some user interface of this like GPT 3.5, or I don't know what they have now. Mm, OpenAI, but OpenAI is exciting, but also Elon Musk says like, okay, he supported them, and probably I think also like some either financially or he had some like something to do with the OpenAI at the beginning, but he's kind of more skeptical towards them now because he said like they used to be like they should have been like non-profit and something and maybe open or something like that, and they're not they're for profit and not so open now. Okay, but this Chat GPT-3 and DALI and Chat GPT, sorry, and DALI and something, they're great, but they're like example of this like centralized AI because it's like just like them, opening into the world, but they're controlling the. It's not like open source.
Yeah.
But what was truly fundamental and very exciting and like a big breakthrough, fundamental breakthrough, is the stable diffusion AI because it can be forked. It's like an open source. So even if like people try to nerf it because of some kind of like again this kind of meddling with similar to Twitter, like just like trying to, it's called like AI ethics or but Balaji says it's like how AI bias is like how to put bias in AI basically. But basically, if you centralized AI is like inherently unequal or unethical, meaning like you want to have decentralized AI, let's say like stable diffusion, because you want anyone to be able to create their own stories. So let's say you can have African stories or Kenyan stories, or let's say Taita stories, or you have some sub tribes, I don't know, and they can have their own stories and their own myths and their own storytelling, and they can use AI to create it. Basically, this stable diffusion and other innovations like this, it's really fast. So it's like on a weekly basis, you get like these new things, and people are excited. And now we will get video soon. So now they're excited from the pictures, and now we will get video, AI video generation, like through prompts. And basically, and after that, not just media, but also Hollywood is finished basically since then, because it turns creators into narrators. So like creators are being disrupted by narrators. And basically, it's like even I'm just gonna post like today this another article I'm like writing. It's called Daily Biologism. It's like my writing challenge. Like I want to write 5 days a week about concepts of like just pick. I want to pick like one concept by Balaji Srinivasan and write like 1 page max about it, something like that. And I'm using like stable diffusion. I don't know. You get loads of startups, but I just find out like one is called like Playground AI, and I had another one before. And this Playground AI, okay, I just you put some prompt and you experiment, and you can even check like what other people are doing, so you can learn like how to write this like very short prompt. I don't know. And basically you just write it and you test it, and it produces like a perfect image for you, something that would normally cost you loads of money to like to create that picture from scratch, or to like take a picture of some model or something, and it can create it like from scratch and for free. Or if you, of course, you can also like have a paid version, which then you can have it like a bigger size pictures or some other features. But it's like basically for free. You can create like I created like a picture for the next article, and it took me like half an hour probably today, because I just like didn't work as I wanted it. But then finally I produced the exact image I wanted. It's like I wanted the article will be like about like bright sun versus black mirror, so like about ascending world, let's say like Kenya, versus the declining world, let's say like the old establishment in the US, and how the ascending world is rising with technology, like how Indians and Kenyans and some like they love technology, and mobile phones and I don't know, crypto, and how, let's say, the old establishment from Brooklyn hates technology because technology disrupted them. So it's like basically, it's simple. But and I wanted to use like illustration, like a bright sun versus Black Mirror, and I was like, okay, Black Mirror is like this series, the UK series, but it's like really kind of dystopian how technology is kind of producing all these dystopias. But the Black Mirror is like a metaphor for the mobile phone, like when it's switched off, it's like a black mirror, So the like let's the so and I wanted to create like a bright sun and a black mirror, and I mean, and I produced it. It took me like half an hour, but
Really?
it's really yeah. I mean, but it's really like a mobile phone and a bright sun shining through the mobile phone. I guess I have to show you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
I'd
have
be
to show you,
interested.
but yeah. Just yeah. Okay, maybe I can share the screen. Just like mm, just like yeah, just to show it.
Mhm.
Let me check. Yeah. So okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Sorry for okay. Host disabled participants screen sharing. So I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
or maybe I can send you the link and you can
no,
okay,
no, no.
it's
You can.
not published yet.
No. You can actually. You
Okay,
can also try to share right now. I think
okay,
it will
I
work.
can okay, let me do this. Okay, so I don't know, can you see it? Okay, this
Yeah.
is okay, I haven't it's like I haven't posted it, so this article yet. So this is the article, but the idea is here. I don't know, can you see this? Like
Yeah.
okay,
It's
so it's
actually.
like a yeah, it's like a mobile phone, like a black screen, and there is a bright sun going through that black screen, and the below it's the same picture. It produced these two pictures at once. Just
Wow.
this simple prompt like bright sun, Black Mirror, dystopia, something. I'm like I would be lying, but actually I could even show you maybe uh, the the original. No, because I closed it. Let's see. Uh, mm, yeah, this is it. I don't know now. Can you see it?
Yeah. I can see.
So this is called like Playground AI, and it's like a bright sun reflecting on a black cell phone screen. I was playing like a mobile phone; it didn't work, and sometimes I think it remembers. And I'm not. I mean, I should also give it like some feedback, probably that this is wrong, this is good, and I'm not doing it. Therefore, probably it took a long time. But it's like I replaced mobile phone with a cell phone because I was like, maybe that's American AI or something. I don't know. So black cell phone screen, realistic dark. So a bright sun reflecting on a black cell phone screen, realistic dark. And then there is something like you can remove from the image like some things you don't want there, like some, but yeah, like various kind of things that usually happen. And basically it produced that picture. It's just
Oh.
one picture. It looks like two pictures. So
Yeah.
I downloaded it and I put it here and I'm gonna publish it tonight. So yeah, and
Wow. That's the
yeah,
power of
AI
AI.
produced it, So
Yeah, the
and
power of
okay,
AI.
let me stop share. Okay, stop sharing. Yeah, but it's and I want to like encourage everyone just to learn it. I mean, there is this guy who also went to this like 1729 like virtual reality with us, and he was actually organizing it. Is John Stokes? Do you remember chatting with him?
Yeah. I
And
remember
he
John.
wrote like a series of articles about this. So I haven't read. I read like one or not even. I want to just finish it over Christmas. And so John Stokes, maybe we can put it somewhere in the footnotes. He wrote a couple of articles on this AI creation or something. So maybe that's a good source. But generally, just like go like to Playground AI or just like check YouTube probably or something and just like get into it and can create crazy things with it. It's just like if I could do it, I'm not
Yeah.
totally. I'm not a designer. And then if I could create that picture in half an hour, then if you are serious, you can create soon. You could create like movies about your history of your tribe or your subculture or something. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, I tried it. It's a great tool, and I really liked it. The playground AI, you know. So that shows the real power of AI. uh, and yeah. So, what do you think, in your opinion, AI can replace in the near future? I mean, of course, there are a bunch of things can replace, but what is the major thing maybe you foresee that AI can replace? As we wind up this episode.
yeah. Sorry, we got excited today about this, like, digital nomadism and Kenya and media,
Mhm.
and now AI. But there is a funny anecdote, like also by Balaji. I mean, he doesn't like New York Times much, but like he funded like a prize or a competition of like
Ah,
I don't know actually what was the goal of it,
I
but
saw yeah, I saw the competition, the tweet. It was
yeah,
uh, like to get tweets to create articles, like
yeah,
instead, you write,
GPT,
yeah,
yeah,
GPT,
Chat GPT,
yeah.
yeah.
And then there's this guy who did it in 85 days, so he learned
Yeah, yeah, and he did. He basically produced a web page that looks like New York Times, but he called it the Chat GPT Times.
yeah.
And basically, the idea, I think that was the assignment, was to create a clickbait article in style of New York Times using Chat GPT. And he did it kind of quickly, maybe in 5 days. I don't remember, but as you said Duke in 5 days. But what's funny that is that he started to learn coding like 85 days ago or something, like on Replit. So
Yeah.
that got me inspired. Like maybe they have like 100-day challenge on Replit or something. So I think maybe we should do it as sometime next year or something.
Yeah.
Or at least I should do it. I don't know, like just to get on track. But it's really funny because it looks, yeah, it produced really good good results, and it looked really good. And it was like a student assignment. So it's like a student assignment that can disrupt New York Times. So just like
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah, okay, but on a serious note, like this is one example, like I think the AI even like many years ago disrupted like sports journalism, because it's kind of everything that is kind of predictable.
Mhm.
It's like what is predictable, and then the machine can do it. So if it's like the sports results have like some predictable format, or weather reports or something like that. And but it counts also for, yeah, ideology. If you are like just like, let's say, like a non-player character, or woke, or just like or it doesn't matter the ideology, but like you have just very predictable thinking and output. Or let's say if you just produce clickbait, like if you know that, okay, Elon Musk did this, and then basically it took Elon Musk's tweets, the Chat GPT,
Yeah, yeah.
and it produced like a clickbait.
Actually, the teacher's about Coca-Cola, something like that.
Yeah. So basically that's like, if you get like the simple algorithm of like downstream media, like they look at, let's say, because they have like this Russell conjugation, or emotive conjugation, meaning like if someone does something that they like, no, so if there is someone like, let's say, SBF, who donated loads of money to, let's say, Vox, Semaphore, some other media outlets, ProPublica, mostly Democratic, at least publicly, but mostly Democratic candidates, and he's like the second largest donor to Biden, and he's like effective altruist, and he's like, who wants to save the world from pandemic. So if it's SBF and he's really rich, or was until recently, until the FTX fiasco. So if he's like rich, but he's like aligned with the values of the old establishment, and like kind of bowing in front of them, then if he does something, and it might be actually quite terrible, like defrauding like millions of people, they will give him like the best possible kind of coverage. Like it's kind of all the kind of plausible deniability kind of things, like oh, but it's very turbulent now, it's a crypto winter, and he probably had loads of mess in his accounting because they did all this like blitz scaling, and it was like they grew too too much. He was like Icarus, he flew too close to the sun and or something, you know. They just like create like kind of like a complex hero, complicated character out of, let's say, SBF. But if it's like Elon Musk, they destroy him for like anything. There is no doubt, or there is no kind of yeah, giving him like a free pass, or like a kind of looking at his actions with like charitable kind of view. It's like he's, yeah, they can destroy him for like or try to destroy him like by negative coverage, like for basically anything that he does, you know, like, and even like making up stupid stuff about him, you know, like from his childhood, like he was a South African, that he is a South African, and but he emigrated when they were still small, and New York Times painted him like some kind of, I don't know, like connecting him with apartheid in South Africa, and he was a kid, you know, he has nothing to do with that. So I don't know. So it's like very unfair, you know, if they like someone, or if if the guy donates to the right people that they also like, and it's like part of their tribe, they will like try to support that person and give him great coverage. But if you are not part of their party or tribe or something, then they try to destroy you for like the smallest kind of tonality mistake, like you did some stupid bad joke, and now it's like they're going crazy about it.
Okay. Yeah, Shimek, thank you very much for your time at Mtambo's this podcast. Thank you for explaining this messed up topic about Elon Musk's Twitter files in a simple way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed listening to Mtambo's Desk podcast, please subscribe, give this episode a thumbs up, and be sure to come back next week for another episode. Until then, this is Duke Mtambo, and don't forget to do good always.